Yahweh, Allah Yahweh, Yahweh, Achad, Shema, Yasharallah, Yahweh, Allah Yahweh, Yahweh, Achad, Shema, Yasharallah, Yahweh, Allah Yahweh, Yahweh, Achad, Rocket the Yahweh, Rocket the Yahweh Shai, Rocket the Yahweh, Rocket the Yahweh Shai, Rocket the Yahweh, Rocket the Yahweh Shai, Bahasson Chakodash. I want to give double honors to our elder apostles and elder bishops of the great millstone of well. Peace and blessings, health and wellness to the house of David the elect. It was the high spirit man, Judah. And today I want to go into a topic entitled, which is the third installment, Fallacies of Feminism, all right, Individualism. Fallacies of Feminism, Individualism. All right, this particular installment is going to go into individualism, all right, because one of the fallacies and one of the lies that's been bestowed upon our women is that basically they have their own reality. They have their own world. All right, speaking of reality, all right, they have something called a reality show. You have reality show, hey, Shalom Zaquan. You have reality shows, all right, you have reality shows for women, which they showcase their own reality and their dramas and their dialogues, all right, their storylines, their narratives, and basically they're isolated within themselves and they're set aside from family. They're set aside from being a component in the family. All right, it's almost insulting to say that a woman is basically a component within the family. She's not an isolated entity within herself. And when you think of an isolated entity, all right, I think of Isis, I think of Semiramis, I think of these ancient idols in which the worship was and the attention was given to the woman outside of her position in the household. Now in the book of Acts, all right, the Apostle Paul, he preached Yahushua, and it was bad for business. I want to say it was the city of Ephesus. You can correct me on the comment board, but I want to say it was the city of Ephesus where Jake was looking at him like, man, he messing up by hustle, preaching Yahushua, all right? Because they said we have no God but Diana. I think her name was Diana, all right? Because basically these artisans, their job, their skill, their trade was to make idols, to sculpt idols, all right? Their job was to sculpt idols and sell them, and that's how they made their money. But part of their making the money was the belief that this sculpture is really an image of a god or idol called Diana. So when Jake saw the Apostle Paul was preaching in Yahushua, it was like, man, he messing up our money. Our bag looking funny because of him. So they was like, nah, man, we have no God but Diana. They had a riot against the Apostle Paul. All right? So showing you that this queen worship, all right, which sprung individualism, all right, which individualism is really a component in Satanism. Satanism isn't just the occultic aspect of worshiping. Satanism is the worship of self and putting yourself first, all right? A woman's role is to be a component within the family, is to be a nourisher, all right? Not just to her sons and daughters, but to say her mother, her father, they're elderly. She's supposed to help nourish them. We have a lot of so-called black women, a lot of black, Hispanic, and Native American women, but especially the Kingdom of Judah. They put all their energy, these women, they have all their energy invested into them, all right, to become nurses, doctors, lawyers, but then they'll neglect the same family that put them in that position or help put them in that position, all right? Because it's more than just studying. You know, you got to have money to go to these different schools. You got to be cultured a certain way to go to these schools. You have to have a work ethic instilled in you from your parents to go to these certain schools, all right? And because of individualism and a me-first mentality, which is rooted in feminism, which is rooted in Satanism, all right? Now women have neglected to bear children. Now women have neglected to unionize themselves with a man, all right? And what they call a marriage. Now women have had excessive abortions, all right? Because of individualism. Now women have delayed their most high given duty, which was the pursuance of 1 Timothy 5. I will therefore the younger women marry, bear children, guide the house. All right. But instead of marrying, instead of bearing children, instead of making her house her career, all right, because that's a skill. Economics is a skill. What they call home economics, that's a skill. All right, instead you put all your energy into being an employee, or to be an entrepreneur, or to be a model or a stripper or whatever you may have it. Everything but primarily a wife and a mother. And a lot of so-called black women, they mysteriously have children by anonymous fathers, and they pride themselves in being mothers, but they don't pride themselves as much as being a wife or a homemaker, because of something called individualism. Because in the Western Hemisphere, all right, as opposed to the Eastern Hemisphere, individualism is selected over collectivism, all right, collectivism, all right, if I'm saying that correctly, but you know what I mean. And being an individual is more esteemed and more selected than working in a collective, being a part of a bigger group. A woman wasn't designed to work by herself or to be independent. An independent woman is really like an oxymoron, man, because a woman wasn't designed to be independent. She was designed to be dependent, all right? And she never left that state of independence. Just like slavery, she went from being under you to under the bankers. So she went from being your property to the property of the bankers, but now within that realm of her servitude, all right, she has more liberties. She can have sex with whoever she wants to. She can come and go as wherever she please or however she please. All right, she can purchase a car, purchase a phone. You see, she doesn't have to report to a man. But it's just like the transfer of service back in slavery. There's a transfer of your servitude as a woman. All right. You went from being a domestic servant to a corporate servant under the bankers. You have your own Social Security, you got a birth control, all right? I'm not birth control, you got birth certificate, all right? You get taxed. Picture of your woman getting taxed, man, all right? You got these little ones, right? You got 3-4 kids with bad credit, and you paying this highest car note for this car for the dealership, all right? Now you're masculine and you're feminine. But the problem when it comes to a woman who's acculturated in the world of individualism, when she gets with a man, she doesn't denounce their individualism. She still has a me verse about herself. She has her own world within herself while she's in the union with the man. And part of her me verse or her reality is her female friends, the gay friends, Lord forbid the male friends, and their agenda. So they have an agenda that's inconsistent with your agenda. A house divided should not stand. Can two walk together unless they agree? Now you have women who are modern and who are liberal, because most of our women are modern and liberal, all right? They get into these traditional structures called a marriage, and it doesn't work, because they're bringing this modern, liberal, new age mindset into a traditional structure where the man is most likely more on the conservative end, and it doesn't work. Because it's like the East marrying the West, it doesn't work. All right, because like I said, once again, one of the aspects of feminism, one of the fallacies in feminism is that women have a right to individualism. And individualism is what's in part is destroying Israelite families. All right, because part of having that evil eye is a woman has an "I'm gonna do me" mentality. All right, there's so many women in an extended Jake family, especially the Southern Kingdom, who don't have men, who don't have husbands. Yet the elders are neglected. In the house, the grandma and the granddad and the great auntie and the great uncle, they're put in hospitals and nursing homes just to be neglected by staff. When you have maybe 10 women in the house or in the family who are single, who don't have men, you see? Or like I said, your family do all they can to put you in these positions to be a nurse, doctor, lawyer, but you don't give back to your family. All right, you rather take a girl's trip. Your family could be in a crisis. All right, you still rather take a girl's trip, man. That's individualism, man. All right, a woman was meant to not only nourish her sons and daughters, but they're supposed to be women in that household who nourish the grandparents too, the grandparents that raised them. For example, if your mom is like 60, all right, and she's retired, well, she might look after her mom who's like 90. You see? But now it's almost impossible in a lot of cases because, you know, the mom that's 60 still might be working, all right? She may or may not have a man, all right? Or you got these women, all right, They doing this hospital stuff, nurse stuff, traveling nurse, whatever they may be, and they look at the patients like they're babies, but they're really supposed to have their own babies. They'll be about 40 years old on birth control, but they'll look at their patients that they care for like that's their babies, but they don't actually have any babies. What they do is that they have flings and, you know, they have different things set up when they travel, you know, a gat or a bribe, so to speak. A gat or a bribe. All right. But one of the things that's really hurting our people is a lack of collectivism. All right, collectivism. All right, the mindset to work as a collective. That's hurting our people. All right, but it's the result of the curses. You know, we can't rehabilitate our people. We can only inform our people, because Yahweh Shema Shai is going to rehabilitate the elect anyway. He doesn't need us. But it's good to be enlightened and understand how Babylon, the Matrix, has kept their wounds fresh. All right? Because we're in a worse predicament as a collective than we were after slavery. You see? Because the foundation of a nation is the nuclear family. So what this man has done, Esau, Edom, Amalek, our opposition, they targeted the family. So now women think, well, I make more than the man, he's incompetent, which is not true. All right. There are no good men, which is not true. There are no competent fathers, which is not true. All right. Now Amalek has given women, he's derailed their trajectory in life. So instead of their trajectory and their path being a wife and a mother, now their trajectory and their path is really being a career woman. All right. Being a bachelorette, you know, till she's what, 60? All right, man, having paramours and dynamics. All right, and they seem more promising, but the end result is the destruction of our people, man. All right. So, I mean, like I said, one of the fallacies of feminism is women, our women, the Israelite women, because I'm not talking about no other nation of people, but our people. One of the fallacies of feminism was adopting an individualistic mindset, man. A me mentality, which is really rooted in Satanism. If you look up Satanism on Google and you go to the Wikipedia, it tells you that Satanism, all right, is really a doctrine of individualism as opposed to submitting yourselves to the duties of God. All right, liberating yourself. Keep in mind the word liberate, freeing yourself from being under some oppressive God and having a do as thou wilt mentality. So individualism is synonymous with do as thou wilt, which we all know that's a Luciferian quote of Aleister Crowley. All right, do as thou wilt should be the whole law or whatever, you know. So if you look up Satanism, all right, in the Wikipedia, all right, and it goes into a particular guy, I forget his name, but he's like the author of New Age Satanism, and it basically expounds that Satanism is really rooted in individualism. It's an I religion, the letter I. All right, it's about me being a God, me making a decision, as opposed to submitting my will to a God. All right, I don't submit my will to anybody, so I'm not going to be oppressed under some God. I'm going to do as thou wilt, which is individualism. Feminism is female Satanism. All right. Makes me think back on that line that Lil Wayne said in that song, hoes love me like Satan. What do you mean by that? Hoes love me like Satan. I can only interpret that as women love Satanism. Whether they understand it as Satanism, they don't understand it, but they love Satanism because feminism is just female Satanism. It's an androgynous religion, and Satanism is the worship of an androgynous demon called Baphomet. In Satanism, their main demon is Baphomet. You've seen Baphomet in the movie, the movie 300. I think it was the movie 300 they showed Baphomet. All right, the worship of Baphomet. But he was an androgynous demon. He had the breast of a woman. And he had the male genitalia. Okay, the male groin area. All right, it's androgynism. But the androgynism manifests in energy. All right, the energy. Women have adopted the energy of a man. All right, And as a result, men have adopted the energy of a woman. All right, women seeking power and independence and autonomy. Those are man traits, man. All right. Women wearing pants. Those are man traits. You know, I'm quite sure all you brothers have met a woman that you were interested in, and she was like, well, you know, I got school, then I got 2 jobs, you know, whether she was sincere or not, because, you know, she might have been curving you, you know, we all experienced that. But the fact that that's not in her biblical trajectory, or she's seeking a path to individualism. All right. Now, granted, hey man, Eve gotta work, you know, and if you gotta dealing with a woman that's in school, I mean, that is what it is, but you have to know. You see? You still have to know. You see? But a lot of women could be administrators to their husband's business. You see? A lot of our women, one of the underlying problems in the Israelite household is women have their money, but they think of it as their money and not their husband's money. They're not invested in their husband's name and his legacy. You see? They have, okay, this is my money. I could go do what I want to do. You know? But you might buy your goodies as a woman, but you still have to look at it like, nah, this money is still going to the household, man. I'm helping his household. You see? And you think you're curbing that, all right, by not doing it, but just to be a consumer and put it right back in the banker's pockets through your consumerism, man. All right? Because you let your husband's enemy, Amalek, trick you into thinking that you was a slave under your husband just to be a slave to Amalek. Because you go work for Amalek, then you get money and you give it right back to who? Amalek, through the banks. You get these cars, these card notes, these credit cards, you get in debt, these student loans. Now you become a slave, a debt slave. The borrower is a servant to the lender. You see? Don't act like you don't know this. But one of the underlying culprits, all right, in feminism, one of the underlying fallacies in feminism is a belief that it's I and me as opposed to we. You see, I and me as opposed to we. And you're not building, you're not adding to anything. You're not building, you're not adding, you're not, you know, just like a roommate mentality, you see? And that's gonna backfire. And there's a lot of YouTube platforms that teach women to just, you know, about you and, you know, ignore negativity. And it's just, you know, it's a picture of her each. All right, maybe she has kids, maybe she doesn't, but they never exist as a family collective, man. All right? But like I said, going back before I close it out, one of the fallacies of feminism is a mindset of individualism. All right? And that mindset has contributed to the ruin of the nation of Israel. All right? Her individualistic mentality, you know, she's not taking her Egyptian money and reinvesting it back into the house, or she's not viewing herself as a component in a family, in a nuclear family, man, or even in an extended family, man. All right, because a helpmeet is a helpmeet, even if you don't have a man to be a helpmeet to, and you got grandmas and elderly aunties and grandfathers that you still gotta help. All right, to the best of your ability. All right, but with that, I do hope you brothers and sisters were edified. Once again, I want to give all honor and glory to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kodash. I also want to give double honor to our elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and blessings, health and wellness to the house of David the elect. Abba, Abba, Kamel, Shalom, Shalom.